Okay, so I'm going to interview Reed about my research question, which was what impact do urban legends have on people? So, how would you define an urban legend?
I think it's either a story or like a character, um, and it can be real or fake. I guess I haven't really heard one that is real. They all tend to be fake. But the general idea is that they're just spread by word of mouth, and that there isn't conclusive evidence one way or another on whether or not they're true or even existent.
So, do you believe that urban legends are true?
I think it depends on context, and it depends on. So, for example, if I live in Sasquatch country, which some people say is in the Northwest, some people say it's here in Missouri, some people say it's in the South. If I live in Sasquatch country and I see something that might have been a bear in the woods, maybe not, then maybe I have some idea for myself of whether or not it's true or not. So I think it's possible. Personally, I've never had experience with that kind of thing, so I don't personally believe in the urban legends, but I can definitely see why someone would. And if they hear enough people talking about it, if they hear enough people that have firsthand accounts of Sasquatch stories or whatever the case is, I can definitely understand why people would believe in those kind of things.
That makes sense. How do you think that they're mostly spread, or mainly created?
Definitely word of mouth spread. As far as created, I think it can be maybe so one of my favorite urban legends is I think it's Apache or Navajo or something, some Native American tradition, and they talk about skinwalkers. And skinwalkers are they just take the form of whatever they have to survive and to eat. And so a lot of times it would be like a person that would be mute, and then they would appear one day. You would I've never seen you before, and then they're mute, and then the next day they're gone, and someone from the town just disappeared. That kind of story.
Yeah.
So maybe they're created from some sense of tradition, but I think spreading is generally just word of mouth, and that's one of the key factors in determining what actually is an urban legend, is that they just spread that way.
So have you ever spread or told an urban legend to somebody?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's nothing like having a good debate over whether or not Sasquatch exists. There's no
Fair enough.
or UFOs. If you look at
that's a good
evidence
one.
of Roswell or evidence of all kinds of stuff. And I've actually heard a first-hand account of a friend of a friend of a friend whose dad literally worked at Area 51 and said, I've seen some stuff. So yeah, the legends stretch far and wide.
It's very true.
I definitely play a role in that.
What urban legend do you find the most interesting? Are you aware of any in St. Louis?
I don't really know of it in St. Louis. We live in a city in the middle, smack dab in the middle of the country, which is why I was hesitant about Bigfoot earlier. I don't remember which part of the country is supposed to be Bigfoot country. But the most interesting, the few that are most interesting that I've heard, skinwalkers for sure. I think chupacabras also.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Because there will be farmers where they'll go out to look at their livestock one day, and their cows are eviscerated, their intestines are all over the floor, and they're like,
that sounds terrible.
a wolf didn't do this. The blood's all drained,
So do you think that's true though?
If they find and kill and show me a chupacabra, then yeah, I'll believe it. But
Okay. So you don't necessarily
maybe it's a
think
bear.
it's true?
Maybe it's a prankster that has a really sick mind. Like crop circles. That's another great urban legend. And there were crop circles. Those originated in Europe, in England, I want to say, and they would come up with these ridiculous overnight drastic shifts to the crop fields, to the point where it was patterned, it was symmetrical, and it was geometrically perfect, to the point where it doesn't make any sense that a human can do that. And after the first hoax, about 15 years later or something, there were these two guys that came out and they said, yeah, we've been doing this for the last 10, 15 years. And
you all thought it was aliens.
yeah, and they showed people how to do it literally in real time. They took a TV crew with them, and they went out in some field, and they took a board, and they took a piece of rope and they tied it around the board and they sit there and they just flattened the crops.
Oh my God, I
over
did
and
not
over and
know
over
about that.
in
That's
front of the camera,
crazy.
and they did it on a time lapse where you can see them do it in the time it would take for them to do it overnight.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Do you think that any specific urban legend has changed your behavior? Like, for example, gang headlights, where it's an initiation for gang members, and if someone they obviously have their lights off, and if someone flashes them at the gang,
Mhm.
they run them off the road, basically.
Yeah, I've never had any experience with that.
But do you have anything that may have changed your behavior? Because, I mean, if I was in that situation, I would never flash my lights again.
Right.
So I don't know.
Because you know better.
Right, so...
Personally, I don't think it has affected my behavior. But I can see how it would. I can see how if you live in the middle of the woods somewhere and you want to avoid a Sasquatch because you've heard, you have 5 friends that say they've seen it or they've seen, the trail of it or whatever. I can see why you'd want to change your behavior and stay out of the woods. I can see why you'd want to.
So that's how they would influence other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Personally, it hasn't influenced me, but I can absolutely see how it would. Or if you're in a place where you've heard of people getting abducted by aliens and you want to stay in your home because you don't want to freaking get abducted by aliens,
Yeah.
So I can definitely see how it would have an effect on people, but personally, it hasn't for me.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.